Yeah, thank you so much, Andreas, and more on that in a moment, because you will hear now until the break from all the players who in this valley and on this valley enabled the commitment and practice on star tourism. Let's begin with a round of introduction of our guests from Kaunertal Valley today. Sarah Reich. You are the Vice Mayor of Kaunertal. Maybe we can see you waving into the camera. Last year, you presented the story of your valley's work on sustainability at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. It's really fantastic to have you with us, Sarah.
Hello, everyone from Feichten in the Kauner Valley, and thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here and talk with you about our Kauner Valley and the Skyscape project. Thank you.
Yes, welcome, Sarah. Now, Andreas, we already met you. You work for the Environmental Ombudsman Office in Tyrol.
Yes, that's true. Hello from our side and from our office, which is in Innsbruck, the regional capital city of the Tyrol. Hello.
Then we have Raphael, Hani, and Walter. You are the architects who designed and built a special object, the Star Bowl, for the observation of the dark sky at 1,900 meters above sea level. Let's hear from you.
Hi, greetings from Innsbruck.
Hello,
Yes.
nice to have you. Welcome in our webinar. Next.
Yeah, I would like to welcome next Philip Hughes. He is a night guide in the Kaunertal Valley. And Philip, especially you, have explored the starry sky with several hundred guests from Austria and Europe over the last years. So we are happy to have you here. Hi, Philip.
Hello from Feichten, from the Kaunertal Valley. I hope I am able to give some experiences from my tours today.
Pretty sure about that, Philip.
Coming up next is Ernst Bartel. You present the Nature Park Kauner Graz. Can you hear us?
Hello from the Nature Park Kauner Graz. I'm looking forward to this interesting webinar.
Welcome. We are very happy that you could make it to join us today.
Yeah, and I can welcome Karin Wille next. Karin, you're here from the Gletscherbahn in Kaunertal, the glacier ski resort in the valley. Karin, can you hear us?
Yeah, hello from the ski resort Kaunertal Glacier at 2,750 meters above sea level. Thanks for having me today.
We're happy.
Well, thank you for joining us. Next is Andreas Hennel. You are an astronomer and you have worked on light pollution for many, many decades. Welcome to you. Can you hear us? Andreas Hennel, can you hear us? I saw him in the Zoom before. Let's see how we can find Andreas Hennel again.
Can switch to a page. This arrow.
Maybe he just dropped out, but he will join us soon again. Andreas, are you here? Okay, we will have him in the call later. He's like a very sort of father in a way to some, a very inspiring senior academic who has really worked on this issue for so many decades in our valleys, but also in many parts of Germany and so on.
That's true for sure. Now it's a great pleasure for me to welcome Stephanie Pontas. You're a biologist and you're also one of the Dark Sky project pioneers in the Tyrol. You're also working with the Environmental Ombudsman Office as my colleague. Hi, Steffi.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here. And I just had Andreas on the phone. He will be with us in a minute.
Great.
Hello from Innsbruck.
Hello, Steffi.
Hi, Steffi again. And now, last but not least, hi, Karin. Karin, you are one of the Starlet partners from Germany, or the Starlet partner from Germany. And it's a great honor to have you here today as well. You will put trends in star tourism into the larger context today. Hi, Karin, you hear us?
Hello, happy to meet you all online.
Hi.
So thank you very much. Now we will unfold this case study of Kaunertal Valley together. We will do this in 5 sessions over the next hour. And dear participants, if you have questions for our speakers, please don't be shy. Write those questions in the chat as soon as they come up, and we will address the questions at the end of the sessions in a plenary roundup. You can also wait until we are done and then raise your hand with the Zoom icon and ask your question right away in a verbal manner. But let's first hear how this beautiful alliance of visionaries and activists has put the star tourism concept together in the Kaunertal Valley. We start with the bigger picture to also help you all orient yourself of how we got to this point where we are now. And we ask why star tourism in this particular Tyrolean Valley. Now I come back to my colleague Andreas. Let me open this showcase with you today. You work with the Environmental Ombudsman Office. This is a public institution in Tyrol that not everyone might know of. And your task and role is to protect nature, landscape, and the environment. So it's really your office that initiated the work against light pollution and for astrotourism in the Alps. How come you started this?
As like ombudsman for the environment within the region of Tyrol, to be more specific, we lend a voice to nature and natural habitats, mainly in planning process, in permission procedures. And in these circumstances, we carefully assess the local ecosystems, like also the Kaunertal Valley. And then we bring the voice of nature in our legal and also administrative governance processes. So this means we give like the common goods as landscape, same as biodiversity, but also the dark night, a legitimate voice and a seat at the table in discussions. And therefore, we became active in the protection of the dark night as well as protection of other natural goods. Quite some time ago, it's now 25 years we work on this topic in the Tyrol. And for us, it's a special field of engagement. It's an area where we are able to connect the world of imagination when you look at the star and think of whatever the world, but we bring it together with the world of science on impact, environmental impacts and biodiversity mainly.
And the Kaunertal, the case study of today, was one of the first valleys where your office pioneered new partnerships and projects for star tourism in the mountains.
Yes, that's true. And especially we are very happy today, the topic as well as the lineup, all our colleagues, it's very special for us because almost all the key voices and representatives, the local representatives of the Kaunertal Valley are in one virtual room. So together for now 7 years, we practiced conservation and conversation to protect the dark sky and to prepare the tourism experiences and approaches with all the different players and stakeholders you will get to know today.
But why did you choose this valley?
Kaunertal Valley, it's a special combination because it's dark itself as well as sheltered from diffuse reflection and light pollution because it's surrounded by high mountains. So the big cities have almost no impact to the dark sky quality. So that's for the Tyrol, it's a very special place where you can experience the unspoiled nights with more than 3,000 stars can be seen at the same time. And also where you have the connection with nature, where plants and animals flourish. And so the day and night rhythm has a big importance and impact. So it's an ideal place to work with these interactions and these topics. So to bring it to also to make it an experience, to bring it to the visitor, there were some connecting points and possibilities created. Now in the Kaunertal Valley, it's possible to lie down in this special star bowl. You can gaze at the sky during the tour at night. You can also sleep and stay overnight very close by in a mountain hut. Meanwhile, it's possible to get a personal experience kit, equipment for your night tour. Mm-hmm. And also there's some special areas in the valley where you can like visit an exhibition or have an audio guide. So yeah, that's where we try to bring the topic like to make it, it's hard to say, to make it an experience, but to get in contact with it.
Yeah, so it's a full-scale experience by now, and I understand it involves also kids services, but also you have been thinking about what to do when the weather is bad. And we will have more from Philip, I guess, in a minute when he talks about the tours themselves. Sarah, you are the Vice Mayor of Kaunertal Valley. Tell us, how has the municipality involved itself in the development of these star tourism offers?
Yeah, as you already heard, the Agnes is our window to the stars, and the Kauner Valley has, over the last few years, we have committed ourselves to a sustainable and forward-looking orientation. Climate change adaptation and climate protection are also anchored in the tourism sense, and it is to the initiative of the Tyrolean Environment Ombudsman Office that the appreciation of the dark night is also an issue in our nature park and glacier region. The Rear Kaunertal Valley is one of the darkest places in Austria, and therefore it offers a wide, starry sky. And the next point is the Kaunertal Glacier Road allows safe access to a magical place in the heart of the mountain, world shaped by glacial ice at around about 2,000 meters above the sea level. So the so-called the Gebart, and it is a picture-perfect alpine pasture and can be reached via the glacier road. Far from any artificially lighted settlements, the Gebart is the most naturally dark place in the entire valley, if not beyond. And yeah, this is the place where our star tours take place. And also the farming is still practiced here and needs the biodiversity. So our shepherds on the alpine farms need the interplay between day and night. And they need the stars for the orientation, but also the behavior of the animals often shows them the weather situation or the coming weather situation. So we humans can learn from the night, but above all, we can benefit from it.
Well, thank you, Sarah. And what are your key observations now seen from the municipality's point of view over the past years as the star tourism offers have begun to kick off in the valley?
Yeah, it was the interest of the population, but also the engagement by many from the tourist side. It's amazing to see what experts we have here on this topic here in the valley, like Philip. I'm sure that many will travel with their enthusiasm, and it's a chance for the Kaunertal to prove again the environmental protection, the living together, and the tourism are possible. The commitment of many activists, volunteers, and supporters in the valley is voluntary, and I'm deeply thankful for that, for the many people they work with us.
Well, that's really helpful to hear, Sarah, and I imagine that this idea of volunteering will play a big role in many of the STAR tourism offers that also participants might develop. What is your advice to others who want to develop these kinds of tours and offers in their own region or context?
Yeah, difficult to say, but I think 3 points are important. Firstly, provide a central space of convening and interaction. Secondly, take participation seriously. And thirdly is the local ownership is essential. So to the first point, as the convening, we supported the Environmental Ombudsman Office in the power of convening. Whenever you develop a practice, a project out there, it is essential that someone else keeps a table and make sure everyone sits on this table now and then. And to the second point, take the participation seriously. I think especially with such large projects, which really involves the interaction between the population, tourism, and community, everyone has to be involved. That's very, very important. And our experience is that the most people are reached through public participation processes, and the most ideas were developed, and above all, it becomes clear who is committed to which topic and who is willing to cooperate. And the thirdly point, it's a little difficult to describe in English, but I mean, the local ownership is the essential. Make sure that the project is not a municipality. It has to become a project for the people they live there, not only for the tourism office or for the I don't know how to say, so for the people they live there. And you should make the project for everyone, as not every people have to work with it and feel it.
Well, I think that's very clear and very helpful, Sarah. So you talked about the importance of a convening space that in your case, the municipality has been providing throughout the years. And you also shared with us this idea to really mean, when you say participation, to inform, but also sign up your own citizens, the farmers, and so on, and make this a joint project. And it seems that this is also what you really stress with your third point of advice, to take this idea of local ownership so seriously at all points that it never becomes sort of the project of the environmental ombudsman in the regional capital or whoever brings a project, but that it really becomes the project of the people on site.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. In the meanwhile, we got two questions here that we can answer right away. How many people live in the valley all year round? It's approximately 600. Is that right, Sarah?
Yes, about 600 people live here in the Karo Valley. So we
Okay.
are a small village.
And when you have peak tourism, when all your guest beds are fully occupied, how many people are in the valley then?
We have around about 2,000 guest beds. So 600 inhabitants and 2,000 beds for the tourism.
Wow. Okay. And yet we will see and share a photo of the Star Bowl in a minute in the next session. So thank you so much, Sarah and Andreas, for opening our case study. And we now dive right into the experience, the emotional, the visual, but also the sensual aspects of astrotourism in the Kaunertal Valley. And we are featuring on one screen Raphael, Hani, and Walter, the architects from Columbus Next, but also Philip Hughes, who is the local tour guide of the first hour. Over to you, Andreas.
Yeah, Philip, you hear us?
Yeah, hello, I can hear you. Yeah.
Great. Hello, Philip. You have been a tour guide for many years at the Kaunertal Valley. So please tell us from your experience, or just describe how does this experience, like guided star tour, work? What can someone expect if he or she books a tour with you? What will happen throughout the evening? Okay.
So I must say this evolved a bit, of course, because I got into this theme through the Tyrolean Environmental Ombuds Office 2019. And we started off the tours 2019 then as well. And of course, we didn't have the lecturing that you get now. So we started a bit, let's say, hobbly-hoy. We set up a concept, and we did the tour with the first people. And throughout the years, we learned and adapted the tour a little bit. So currently, our tour is when the people book it, we meet up in the valley, and then we drive up together to the how's it called? Kipach House, sorry, where we gather, and we give out red light torches for our guests that the eyes can adapt to the dark. And then we start with a little introduction, because our goal is to somehow give a feeling for the vastness of the universe. So we start off with this a little bit, and then we sort of walk into the night. We start when it's dawn, dusk, and then we walk into the night, and we can see the stars slowly coming out. We can see the first constellations, and we always stop in between, give some explanations, and carry on with the tour again. Our tour takes about 3 to 4 hours, and we walk for about 2 kilometers. We've always got stops in between, and in our program, we just explain different things. The darker it gets, the more you can see in the sky, and then we connect to this, of course, and tell a bit about the sky. What I can say is, with the storytelling, this is very important, because we began a bit with lecturing, but we noticed that you really have to connect with the people. They like to be entertained. They like to hear stories. So we changed this throughout our concept a bit. In the end of the tour, we reached the Star Bowl then. This is a very nice place where you can just lay down. Before we had the Star Bowl, we laid in the grass a bit and looked at the sky. You can see the Milky Way very well there. and then we lay in the bowl, and then we just sort of have the situation sink in, and you a bit enjoy the Milky Way, and then after 5-10 minutes we give some explanations to this as well. Of course, there are always questions, and after this, depending on the group, of course, we stay there about 20 minutes maybe, and then we walk back to the Gebärdhaus. We always take telescopes, and then we still look at a few objects. Some of the people from the group, they go home then already because it's too late. Some stay a bit longer. It's very individual depending on the group.
Well,
that's sort of the...
Thank you, Philip, for giving us like a first impression what to experience at these guided tours you provide. If you look back at the development of the project and development of these tours until now, can you give us what has been your key learning in this, the main aspects to get to this point?
Well, key aspects are really to have background knowledge about what you want to tell. Don't try and tell too much. Too much information isn't good either. Second thing is, as I said already, storytelling. Try and connect with the people more on an emotional level. This is much more important than trying to present as much information as possible. Then, of course, have a program that is sort of your red line to go through the evening. Of course, you will always adapt to the group, and there will be changes. Very important was the size of the group. We've got a maximum of 20 people. If it gets larger, the group, it gets very, there's an unrest. And the tour isn't as quiet as it should be. And then, of course, you have to adapt the constellation of the group to what you want to provide. We walk for 3 to 4 hours in the nighttime. So it's difficult to do this with children and families. So you always have to see what is your concept, what target group have you got, and for this you have to adapt it to the group you invite or that will book it, of course.
Okay, thank you, Philip, for sharing us this information. And now, Verena, I give back to you.
Sure. More from you in a minute, Philip. Let's move over to our architects for a moment and see the photo of the Star Bowl. If we can have that on our screen, one of the Stephanies, please. Raphael and Walter, how come you as architects got involved with conceptualizing the Star Tourist in the Kaunertal Valley experience?
So we got involved during Johannes Costanzer, and then also we get in contact with Andreas Hudler, Stephanie Pontach, and at the first we was asked to design a possibility there over in 2,000 meters to lie down and to enjoy the stars. Less or more, it was the question.
And started with a bench, more or less.
Yes.
So with the idea to do a bench, but we decided then, because we went to Siena 1 year before, and we saw how the people use that. They have a big plaza in Siena. It's a round. It's a half of a circle, and
slightly inclined.
Yeah, it was very beautiful how the people use that place, because if you have that bowl, you can also you can have the tilt of the place where you sit is everywhere different. And of course, it was the aim was to do something for starring in the sky, and a circle is more or less the best
Uniting place where you can build. So.
And you literally measured the topography of the valley, didn't you?
Yes, we did a 3D scan of the area because we wanted to leave the place as we found it more or less. So we didn't want it to disturb the nature. So we found in the scan then
a certain the natural bowl.
Yeah, more or less the bowl in the topography.
And when you decided on that specific sort of natural bowl, you also found a lot of local providers of the timber and so on, and you built the whole star bowl entirely with local materials, didn't you?
Yes, we got the stones from it was just 5 kilometers away from the Batscheider Karl, it's called, and also we got the wood from the Gemeinde Kaunertal with the old mayor Beppi, Josef Reich, and we also we did it
the wood cutting.
The wood cutting we did with Wille Christian, also a guy from Kaunertal, very nice guy. Yes, and more or less the bowl is made out of stone and wood.
And the wood, it's really from the side over there, and it's a really nice wood. It's large. Oh, no, it's silver. I don't know how you call it in English, but it's expensive, but we get it really for a good price. And it's also the most sustainable wood, you could say, for kind of benches outside. And that was really the goal, to have a project that is really sustainable and really comes out from the material on site. So the stones are everywhere there, and the wood is also there from there. And we had a nice stone wall builder. It came from Vorarlberg. We didn't find one in Tyrol, but he was also a nice guy. And you see that, like Raphael already mentioned, it was a bit of a struggle, but we had a nice contact, and we had a lot of communications. But at the end, we had a good relationship and a good communication with all the different people from there.
Yeah, and we all learned that you really went out of your way. This started, as you said, with the idea of creating a bench or some kind of facility to have the people who are on the tour take a rest and look at the stars. And then it turned into this very, very mindful and co-creative project. You mentioned Sarah Reich's father, Beppi Reich, who used to be the mayor in the valley, and a lot of other of the stakeholders who, of course, in such a locality are important. But tell us one last thing. Why do aesthetics matter? Like, you could argue that looking at the starry sky is already such an overwhelming canopy of an aesthetic experience. Why would aesthetics also matter on the ground?
Yeah, because design is very important. We think that design can change a lot of things, especially emotionally. And I think that these places are you have to treat them very carefully. And it's not so easy to install something, a design piece in such an area. And we thought at the beginning, we thought a lot of old let me say, maybe antiques or maybe old ways to build in the mountains. And you could say that this design, it's very, very specific and has to do with kind of possibilities that you find in this kind of valleys, countries, and also in the history of these places. And we think that we have tried to be very sensitive, and a good design comes out of this sensitiveness. And it's important that it was not aimed to create a big sign or landmark or something like that. It was really getting to the point to find this kind of circle, to concentrate and to have a nice spot there, but to not harm. And that was really, and I think that it's very important that we participate, architects and artists participate in this kind of process.
The aesthetics always matters if you do things for people, more or less.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. So we also have a bigger presentation. Should we share it in the chat or we do it later, right?
Yes, we would prefer to have it later in the breakout group.
So
Thanks.
there we can explain more the story and also the thing with
The process.
Thank you so much, Walter and Raphael Hani. It was a great pleasure to work with you there, I think for all of us. And now let's hear from different perspectives on the Dark Knight from the Kaunertal Valley. We have now two representatives of different kinds of sites. We have Karin Wille from the Glacier Ski Resort and Ernst Bartel from the Nature Park Kaunergrad.